Hey there, so I wanted to create a quick video showing my PinSim that I've created for playing virtual pinball in VR. I have posted some images of this on Facebook in the past, but I recently kind of wrapped up the project and thought it would be worthwhile showing a quick video of what everything looks like. So I've moved it in here where I have my pinball machines, just to kind of show that it's, the whole idea for it was that it's essentially just the front part of a standard pinball cabinet. These are all Sterns over here, modern Sterns. It is a standard width. In fact, the lockdown bar that I'm using is from a Bally Attack from Mars that I used to have. So it's a little scuffed up, but it does the job. I designed the cabinet myself using Fusion 360 and used a CNC to cut it from 3/4 inch plywood. The hardware is all hardware apart from the lockdown bar, the legs, the bolts, and the brackets and so on, the plunger, all the front buttons are all, and the flipper buttons are all buttons that are all pieces that I bought from Pinball Life. I buy a lot of my pinball parts there, so I just added those to an order I had placed. I opted not to go with a coin door, and instead I went with buttons underneath. So these are the 4 buttons that represent the inside. They basically represent these 4 buttons that you would have inside your coin door. So I have those 4 buttons there, and then you also need a button to map to opening the coin door, and I just put that one over here on the left. So I can very easily reach underneath the cabinet and adjust any ROM settings that I need to. So I have an analog plunger and a separate launch button. Start, extra ball, and basically an exit button. On the top, I just put a joystick and 6 other buttons. I use these for things like mapping the reset VR room position button, raise and lower table, things like that. Coins, so because I don't have a coin door, I use this button here to insert coins. 2 flipper buttons on each side. The red one, which is the flipper button and the magnesate, the red one is actually a dual leaf, so I haven't actually got that working yet, but my goal is for that to allow me to do staging of flippers and so on. Same on the other side. And then on the back, I just have a hole where the power cord and the USB cable come out. There's no computer inside, it's just, and I'll open it up in a minute. So the idea here is, this is really just a pressure fit, and it's a little bit of a pain to get off, but I can remove the lockdown bar, which is a little ratty looking. It just fits into a groove that I cut along the top here, and the entire control panel can slide backwards, not very elegantly, unfortunately, but it can slide backwards and lift out. And inside, I wired, I'm just going to put this down for a second. I wired everything up to a 12 position little plug. So once I've done that, I can lift the entire top panel away and set that aside. So inside, as I mentioned, I've got the dual leaf switch buttons for both flipper buttons. All the other wiring. I am using a KL25Z PinScape controller to control all of the buttons. I'll start with the analog plunger. This is using a AEM, I think it's 8600 optical encoder. Also all part of the PinScape package. If you've looked into PinScape, you should know what I'm talking about. It's very accurate. I like that a lot. Just have a power strip. So I'm using surround sound feedback for my, that's part of the reason why I left the top of this open. So you'll see I have an amplifier at the back, and then two exciters, one on the left, one on the right, and then a bass shaker. And I gotta tell you, this thing really works amazingly. I use a valve index, so the headphones are off my ears, and having all the table sounds come through this is just really amazing. I'm glad I didn't go with contactors, which was my original approach. So this to the right of right here, this is just a USB switch. And you can't really see it very well, but this little thing is a USB sound card, basically. So that's just used to drive the amplifier up here. And that's about it. It's really simple. It was not difficult to build. I can show you a little closer how these grooves work. So the control panel just slides in from the top and then slides forward. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed.